Shivaya. Good morning.
Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Vatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Veeryam Karvavahai Yasminavadhitamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Tat Sat. Namah Shivaya.
So we are on verse number 13. So verse number 12. So let us just chant that again. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri
Bhagavanuvacha
Eyam yattat pravakshyami
Niyam yat pravakshami
yatvamritamashnute
Yatvaamritamashnute
anadimat param brahma
Anadimat
Anadiparam Brahma
sattanna saduchyate.
Nasattanna Saduchyate.
Krishna says, I will clearly talk about that Brahman, which everybody should know. Because why should everybody know? Because having understood that Brahman, you get moksha, you get immortality, right? So the solution for mortality is what? Solution of mortality is immortality. The solution for immortality is that you must know that Brahman. And we saw the word in the last class, anadimat. Somebody's mic is on. Please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. So we saw the word anadimat, and we said that adi has two meanings. One is the beginning, and one is as karana. So here, actually, both the meanings should be taken. Brahman has no beginning, and Brahman is also without a karana. Adi is beginning, anadi is beginningless. Adi is karana, anadi is without karana. Therefore, Brahman has no beginning and Brahman has no karanam also. Okay. Now we saw that Shankara said that the two words, na sat, na asat. Where is that? Na sat tanna saduchyate. Na sat, na asat uchyate. So these two words can be used to negate the world. And once you negate the world, one is sat and one is asat. When you negate the potentially existing world as well as the existing world. So asat, sat means the existing world. Asat means that world which is not yet existing. Can't say not existing, but potentially existing. So when you negate that existing world, which is Vyakta Maya, and when you negate that potentially existing world, which is Avyakta Maya, what remains is Brahman alone. And therefore we saw that Shankara said that particular phrase, Nasat and Asat, Nasat Tat Asat Uchyate. That is neither Sat nor Asat. That phrase has to be taken as revealing the beginningless, Karanamless Brahman. Right. Now here is where we stopped the last class. And here Shankara in his Bhashyam enters into a very important aspect. It's a discussion giving the conditions under which Shabda, words can reveal objects. This is very important because you know that the entire Shastram is words only. So how are the words revealing an object? What are the conditions under which words reveal object? This is an important topic in Shastram, and it's called Shabda Pravritti Nimittani. The hetu, the conditions for Shabda Pravrittihi, the activity of Shabdam. What is the activity of a Shabdam? The activity is to reveal an object. Therefore, Shabda Pravritti Nimittani, those conditions under which Shabda, words, can reveal any object. And Shankara says, if a word has to reveal an object, that object must fulfill certain conditions. What is that? There are four conditions: Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha. Right? Object has to fulfill Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha conditions. What is Jati? It's a species. Right? So if the object fulfills the condition of belonging to a species, then the object can reveal, then the word can reveal the object. For example, when you say horse, right? Even if there's no horse in front of you, because you understand that the horse belongs to the species of horses, you understand the meaning of the word horse as what? As a member of that species. So even though that horse may not be in front of me right now, but because you have seen horses somewhere else, so therefore you have an idea of the horse as belonging to a particular species of animals. And therefore, when I talk about a horse in general, you're understanding that I am talking about an animal belonging to the species of horse is based on what? Is based on jati. Your understanding of the species. Horse is belongs to species. Is that clear? That is the first one, right? Okay. Then the next one is kriya, action. So when I say somebody is, let us say, cooking, right? So when you know that when I say cooking is going on in the kitchen, what do you call understand from that? What is it revealing?
Someone is cooking.
Someone is cooking. That a human being is cooking in the kitchen, either a man or a woman or a cook. Somebody is cooking in the kitchen, right? So the when you are saying kriya is actually a verb. It's an action of cooking, but that kriya reveals the person doing the kriya. So that kriya, the word kriya, the word cooking reveals the person who is doing the action of cooking. So action reveals the doer of the action. That is the second condition. The third is guna. So when I say the ball is black, the ball is white, the attribute of the ball as being having a particular color is revealed by the word guna. Or I can say the object is square, the object is round. The attribute of being round or square or triangular or conical is revealed by the use of the guna, the attribute. And the fourth one is sambandha. So when I say this is my wife, or this is my sister, or this is my father, then the use of that sambandha, the relationship, the word giving the relationship, that reveals the person. Because when I say my wife talks about something, you know that there is a relationship which I'm talking about. And therefore, since you know my wife as person who's married to me, the word wife reveals that particular person. So that is sambandha. And of course, there is a fifth aspect which Shankara doesn't mention, but which we can take. It's called Rudhi Arthaha. What is Rudhi Arthaha? We have talked about it many times. Rudhi Arthaha is the popular meaning of a word. So sometimes you use a word which has a popular meaning. That popular meaning can reveal the object which the word implies. Okay. Therefore, in the light of this, let us take only the first four. In the light of this, you have to examine whether any words can reveal Brahman, right? So jati, can the use of the idea of jati reveal Brahman?
No.
No, it doesn't belong to any jati.
Doesn't belong to any species, right? Because there's no other Brahman. There's only one Brahman, so there's no jati, therefore it cannot reveal. Kriya cannot reveal Brahman because
Brahman is a
He's not
karta.
a karta.
Brahman
Is
is
a
a karta.
karta.
Gunaha cannot reveal Brahman because
Gunatita.
Gunatita is Nirguna. Sambandha cannot reveal Brahman because
It's only
Asanga.
it's
Asanga.
ekam.
Asanga. Therefore, none of these four can reveal Brahman. Right? Therefore, the question comes, how can Shastram talk about revealing Brahman? Because Shastram is only words. And the four conditions are not fulfilled. Therefore, no words can reveal Brahman. Therefore, what is the methodology that Shastram uses? Remember that Shastric words do not or cannot reveal Brahman because they don't fulfill these four conditions. So, what is the methodology? So, Shankara says the methodology is that you introduce a fictitious sambandha, a mithya jagat you introduce. Brahman has no real sambandha because it is asanga, but by introducing a fictitious jagat, Brahman can have a fictitious relationship with this fictitious universe. And using this fictitious universe and this fictitious sambandha, Brahman can be revealed by words which talk about this mithya sambandha. So, what is this methodology called?
Adhyaropa apavada.
Adhyaropa apavada. Because first you introduce the fictitious jagat, that is called adhyaropa, superimposition. After revealing Brahman through this fictitious relationship, then you negate the fictitious world, which is called apavada. Therefore, adhyaropa apavada is the methodology which is being used and which you will see in the next few verses. So, we go to verse number 13. Please unmute yourself. We will chant. Sarvatah panipadam tat
Sarvata
Sarvata
Panipadam Tat.
Panipadam tat.
sarvatokshirishiro mukham
Sarvato
Sarvato
Shishiro.
Shiromukam
Shiromukam.
sarvatashrutimaloke
Sarvata Shrutimaloke
Loke.
sarvam avritya tishtati.
Sarvamavritya Tishtati.
Tishtati.
Okay. So, sarvatra tat panipadam. Sarvatra, everywhere, tat, that Brahman, pani padam, has got what?
Hands and legs.
Hands
Hands
and
and
feet.
legs. And sarvataha akshihi shiraha mukham. So you have to break it up carefully. Tat sarvataha akshihi shiraha mukham. That Brahman has got everywhere akshihi eyes, shiraha heads, mukham mouths. And sarvataha shrutimat has got ears everywhere. Even then, loke, in this world, sarvam avritya tishtati. Avritya means pervade. So that Brahman remains pervading everything in this universe. So these verses, the 7 verses now, 7:13 to 19, they're actually a complete summary of all the Upanishads as far as the portion on Brahma Vidya is talked about. Wherever Upanishad talks about Brahma Vidya, all those Upanishadic mantras can be taken as being summed up in this 7 verses. And therefore, this particular chapter is very important because it gives the summary of all the Upanishads. So, Shankara says in his commentary, while introducing this particular verse number 13, is this even though Brahman cannot be revealed by words, he accepts because Brahman doesn't fulfill the Shabda Pravritti Nimittani, the four conditions necessary for words to reveal Brahman. Even though Brahman cannot fulfill that, by showing that Brahman has upadhis, such as Indriyas, etc., he says, by introducing that fictitious upadhi, Brahman can be revealed. So Upanishad says what? Brahman is the ultimate substance out of which the entire creation is created, the Vastu. And we saw this. Yasvaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Asat Kalparthakam Bhasate. Where did we see? Yasvaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Asat Kalparthakam Bhasate. No? Anybody? Not sufficient revision. Okay. We saw it in Dakshinamurti Stotram. Okay. So Yasyaiva Spuranam. Yasya. That Paramatma Sfuranam. The manifestation of that Paramatma. Yasyaiva Sfuranam. The manifestation of that Brahman, where in this world is in what form? Sadatmakam. In the form of Sat only, Sat Atmakam, in the form of existence, in every object. And Asat Kalparthakam Bhasate. Asat here means Mithya Padartha, Mithya objects. Therefore, Asat Kalpaha is Mithya. Therefore, Asat Kalparthakam Bhasate, Mithyarthakam Bhasate. That existence of Brahman is seen in this world in the form of the existence principle in every single object. And therefore, whenever I see an object, I'm experiencing what? Any object I look at, I'm experiencing the basic substance existence in association with the anatma. And that is why I say anatma is. When I say that this glass is, I'm experiencing two things. This is existence, glass, anatma. This is glass consists of anatma plus atma. And this is the idea in this sloka. So Shankara says, through the upadhis, the existence of the Kshetrajna is clearly visualized. Right? Remember that the upadhis which we see when we talk about Jivatma, Kshetrajna, belongs to Vyashti. But we can also talk about Mahashetrajna, Samashti Kshetrajna. If the Vyashti Kshetrajna is Jivatma, who is the Samashti Kshetrajna?
Paramatma.
Paramatma, Brahman. However, there's a difference. Vyashti Kshetrajna can be perceived. Your Pratyaksha Pramanam can grasp Vyashti, the individual Kshetrajna, but Samashti Kshetrajna has to be understood through Anumana Pramanam, through inference only. Therefore, Tat Gyayam, that Brahman is to be known. How? Sarvataha Pani Padam has got hands and feet everywhere. It pervades everywhere. So you can understand that statement as that Brahman is the Upadana Karanam for this universe. Just as gold is inherent or is pervading all the ornaments, that existence principle pervades everything. Even when I say in this hall there is only space, what am I saying? Space exists. The existence principle is presumed there also. And therefore, sarvataha akshihi shiraha mukhaha. This is a reference to whom? Sarvataha akshihi shiraha mukhaha. This is a reference to Virat Ishvara, chapter 11. Same idea is there in Gita, right? And Sarvataha Shrutimat. So Shruti here is to be taken as Shravana Indriyam, ears. Therefore, in this world, this Virat Ishvara has got Akshihi, eyes, Shiraha, heads, Mukhaha, mouth, and Shrutihi, Shravana Indriyam, ears everywhere. And in this universe, Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. This Virateshwara, this Brahman, remains surrounding, pervading everything. What is the idea behind this verse? Shankara says it's got a very specific significance. All these attributes which appear to belong, now we're talking about Samashti, right? Because he says Sarvam Avritya Tishtati is saying. So we're talking about Samashti, we're talking about Virat Ishvara. So he says all these attributes which appear to belong to that Virat Ishvara, the Samashti Kshetrajnaya, actually belong where? We are saying Virat Ishvara has got eyes everywhere, has got heads everywhere. Therefore, you have taken it that Virat Ishvara is the owner of this eyes, heads, ears, everything, mouths, everything. But they belong to what?
Maya.
They belong to Maya. They belong to the Kshetra. To use the words of this particular chapter, all these individual attributes which appear to belong to Samashti Ishvara, or Samashti Brahman, or Samashti Kshetrajnaha, belong to Kshetram, universe. Anything which belongs to Kshetram is what? Mithya only. And therefore, you should, what should you do? Since all of them are Kshetra Dharma, attributes of Kshetram, you should use the Kshetram for understanding Kshetrajnaha. It's a very, very beautiful statement. Use the Kshetram for understanding Kshetrajnaha, but never claim Kshetra Dharma as your Dharma. Never claim the attributes of the Anatma as your attributes. Use the Anatma for understanding Atma, but do not ever claim the attributes of the Anatma as your attributes. Because the moment I claim Kshetra Dharma as mine, along with it, Ahankara will come. Along with it, Mamakara will come. Along with it, Raga will come. Along with it, Dvesha will come. Along with all this, helplessness and finitude will come. Samsara will come. Therefore, I have to use the Anatma, the Kshetram, to understand Kshetrajna Brahma, and then I have to negate that Kshetram as Mithya. And if I say that Kshetram is Mithya, therefore I will not use it, I will never understand Brahman. I will always remain in samsara. So there are two things. I can either use Kshetram to understand Brahman, or I can say Kshetram is Mithya, therefore I will not use Kshetram at all. Why should I touch a Mithya substance? The moment I say that, I can never understand Brahman. Therefore I will remain in samsara. I can never get Jivan Mukti. On the other hand, if I use Kshetram but refuse to let go of Kshetram, refuse to negate it finally, claim that attributes as myself, then I am a pramudaha, prakarshena mudaha, superlative mudaha, superlatively deluded person, and I will remain in samsara. Okay. It's easy to say, use Kshetram to understand Kshetrajnaha. How to do that? I will remind you of one verse. I hope you remember. Asti bhati priyam rupam namacha iti ansha panchakam adhyatrayam brahma rupam jagat rupam tathodvayam. What does it mean? And where is it from in the first place? Where did this verse come from? Asti bhati priyam rupam namacha iti amsha panchakam adhyatrayam brahma rupam jagat rupam tathodvayam. You've forgotten. It's from Trik Drishya Vivekaha. What does it say? Asti. It says basically that every anatma can be divided into five things. That is, whenever you look at anatma, you experience five things. Asti, existence. Bhati, consciousness. Priyam, ananda. Rupa, form. Nama, name. Iti amsha panchakam. Iti ansha panchakam. These five are the parts which you experience whenever you look at any object. Existence, consciousness or awareness, bliss, name, form. And he says, Adhyatrayam, the first three, Brahma Rupam, will indicate Brahman. What is the first three? Asti Bhati Priyam. Existence, consciousness, bliss, Ananda. That aspect of any object is basically Atma alone, Brahman alone. Jagat Rupam Tataha Dvayam. The next two. That is Rupam plus Nama, name and form. This belong to the Jagat, to Anatma. Every object which you like in this world has got these five components. And what should I do? Adhyatrayam Brahma Rupam. I should sharpen my intellect and understand that in every Anatma object, there is Brahman, represented by the first three. And there is Atma also, a mixture of Atma and Atma. Atma represented by the first three, and name and form belong to the Kshetram. So Kshetrajnaha plus Kshetram is the component of everything that I see. And this is the bottom line of the teaching. The entire creation is Saguna Brahman. But the first three in the whole creation, the first three components are Nirguna Brahman. Extract that alone and drop the rest. Does it make sense?
Yes, Acharya. Absolutely.
Okay. Now we look at the next verse. Verse number 14. We will chant. Sarvendriya Gunabhasam
सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासम्
Sarvendriya Vivarjitam
सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम्
Saktam Sarvabhrichaiva
Asaktam
असक्तं सर्वभृत्यैव
Nirgunam Gunabhokricha.
Nirgunam
निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तृ च
Okay. So Abhasam reflected Sarvendriya Gunaha. Sarvendriya guna abhasam. Brahman is abhasam. Brahman is reflected. Atma is reflected. Sarvendriya gunaha. Through the functions of all the organs. Sarva indriya gunaha. Through the functions of all the organs. And yet, Sarvendriya vivarjita is free from all the organs. Then, Sarva Bhrit, that Brahman sustains everything. Eva asaktam, and yet is not attached to anything. That Brahman guna bhoktru, experiencer of all the gunas, the bhokta of all the gunas, and yet nirgunam, free from all the gunas. So here it's a very unique verse in which you can see both adhyaropa and apavada appearing. So this verse is talking about adhyaropa apavada. So supposing I want to teach you about light. Let us say there are all children who don't know what is light. Remember that pure light cannot be seen. I hope you're aware of that, right? Pure light can never be seen. When you look out of the window and it looks very bright, what is the reason why it's looking bright?
Reflected from the dust part.
It is
Particles
reflected from all the dust particles. Had there been complete vacuum, it would have been total darkness, excepting where the light hits the ground. Any reflecting medium is necessary for the light to be seen, right? So supposing I want to teach you about light, what will I do? I can't talk about pure light because light without a reflecting medium cannot be perceived. As you can see in space, right? Space is full of light, but you can't see that because in between stars or in between planets, there is no reflecting medium. So it looks dark. Therefore, pure light, I cannot show you. Therefore, I will put up my hand and I will say, what do you see? Then most of you will say, I see the hand. And this I have actually done in the TTC, okay? I put up the hand and said, what do you see? Everybody says, I see only the hand. Then you prod and you say, it's not the hand alone. You see other things. Everybody says, no, we see the statue behind you. We see the hall. We see the curtains. We see this. We see that. One person in 1,000 will say, no. I see that there is the light which is revealing your hand. So once you come to that statement where you say the light reveals your hand, then I say, okay, now focus your attention on this light and I pull the hand back. What have I done? To show you something which cannot be seen, I have introduced my hand, the object, where the light is reflected. That is the dhyaropa, superimposition. Then I have pulled the hand away, negating it. So I have pulled away the hand. That is the apavada, the negation. What remains is the light alone. So this method is called adhyaropa apavada. Introducing the hand is adhyaropa. After drawing your attention to the light, taking away my hand is called apavada. So this is the adhyaropa apavada prakaranam or nyaya. Similarly, pure existence can never be understood. Therefore, what do? We introduce the Jagat as an object. Then we say, now look, you are seeing Jagat, right? And you say, yes, I am seeing Jagat. But you say, remember that Jagat exists because of the existence principle. Having introduced that existence principle called Atma, because of which Jagat exists, then I remove Jagat. What remains? Only the existence principle remains. The Atma remains. The world has been dismissed. That's called Apavada. And that is the principle being used here. He says, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. So Gunaha here is, Shankara says, Vyaparaha, functions of the Indriyas. So Sarvendriya Vyapara Abhasam. That Brahman is manifested through the functions of all the organs. Through the operation of every single sense organ, that Brahman is manifested. And Sarvendriya here has to include not only Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas also, Antakaranam also you can introduce. Right? And why Antakaranam should be introduced? Because sense organs cannot operate without the mind. They have no existence without the mind because no utility without the mind. Therefore, mind should also be included. And abhasate means appears to be associated with. So, what is happening? The actions of the sense organs are transferred to me, the Atma. And therefore, I appear to be seeing, thinking, hearing. And this is the Dhyaropa, introducing the sense organs and saying that, look, these sense organs are functioning. And that functioning is not possible without the blessings of the Atma. Right? And then he says, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, free of all the Indriyas. Because Brahman, the Atma, has no Indriyas at all, neither external nor internal. Because of the Indriyas, I am able to focus on Brahman. But the Indriyas are not part of Brahman. Because of my hand, you have been able to see the light. You have been able to focus on the light. But my hand is not integral part of the light. Whether the hand is there or not, the light will still be there. The hand is introduced for you to be able to focus on the light. Brahman is there whether or not Indriyas are there. Indriyas are introduced for you to be able to focus on Brahman. Once Brahman focus has come into being, then we can pull out the Indriyas. Apavada can be done. Right? You appreciate Brahman as existence principle through the sense organs or through the world, knowing fully well the world is not intrinsic to Brahman. This is called Anyonya Adhyasa, a two-way transference. What have I done? Why two-way? I have transferred the activity of the Indriyas onto me, the Atma. Right? That is one way. What is the reverse way? I have transferred existence and consciousness, which is my attribute, to the Indriyas. So Anyonya Adhyasa has been done. Right? And by negating sense organs, I will remove this and I will be left only with Atma. Okay. Then Sarva Vrichaiva. So that has to be broken up. Sarva Vrit Eva Cha. Vrit means Vibharti, sustaining. Sarva Vrit, Sarvam Vibharti. That which sustains everything. So that Jagat, that Brahman sustains the entire Jagat, which means that the entire Jagat exists only because Brahman is lending existence. This is Adhyaropa. Asaktam. Because Brahman is devoid, Brahman doesn't have any sense organs. It is free from any connection, like Akasha, which supports everything, but not connected to everything. And therefore, Asaktam here is the negation, the Apavada, free from all sense organs. And that Shankara says, Asaktam has to be understood as Sarva Karana Varjitam, free from all the karanams, all the sense organs. Therefore, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, the phrase represents superimposition, Adhyaropa. Sarvendriya Vivarjitam represents Apavada, negation. It is like drinking milkshake. When you go and ask for a milkshake, there are two things you get. What are they?
You get fruit and sugar also along with it.
No, let us take milkshake as one entity.
We get milk and whatever is
glass.
taken into it, the fruit part of it. Both.
Okay, I get confused. Let's just say orange juice. You ask for orange juice. You go to shop and say, I want orange juice. What
Yeah,
do you
we
get?
get a glass
Glass
tumbler
along
and
with
The glass comes
orange.
with it.
Right.
The
You get a
container.
glass and you get orange juice. Now, which is the essential part?
The juice.
The juice. Therefore, the glass is the adhyaropa. Because without the glass, you cannot drink the juice. Therefore, the glass is adhyaropa. When you return the glass back to the shop after drinking the juice, it is apavada. Okay, so here also you're doing the same. The Jagat is the glass, because without the glass you can't eat the juice, drink the juice. You can't assimilate the idea of Brahma. And therefore you first introduce Jagat, understand the existence principle through Jagat, then drop Jagat. Understand Brahman as pure existence alone. So Shankara says, even though Brahman is asangaha, it is still the supporter of everything. And then how can you say there is Advaitam? Because there are two things, Brahman and Jagat.
Different orders of reality.
Different orders of reality, like the mirage water. The mirage water cannot exist without what? The Adhishthanam, the substratum, which is the desert sand. The mirage water cannot exist without the desert sand. The Jagat cannot exist without Brahman. Therefore, Sarvabhrit means Brahman supports by lending existence to Jagat. At the same time, Nirgunam. Brahman is free from all the three gunas. And yet, Guna Bhoktra. Yet, that Brahman is associated with all the properties of the Jagat. Right? When I say the glass is the Nama Rupa. The is the existence principle. Asti. Asti Bhati Priyam. Out of that, is represents Asti. Nama Rupa represents glass. Hence, Guna Bhoktra, experiencer of all the gunas, Brahman is how whenever it is associated with the mind, the anatma. Therefore, the gunas, how are they expressed? Through thoughts. Sukha, dukkha are thoughts. Like the screen and the movie, right? All the objects are associated with the screen. In fact, you cannot see the movie without the screen. At the same time, the screen is not affected by the objects of the movie. All the blood in the movie will not taint the screen. All the tears from all the heroines in the movie will not wet the screen. The screen accommodates the movie, but is asangaha, is not touched. Therefore, Brahman accommodates the entire universe. But from the Paramarthika standpoint, remember that the universe does not exist. The universe is mithya. And when we say mithya, we should remember anything mithya has a dependent existence. It has no real independent existence. Mithya does not have origination. It cannot be said to be born. And mithya has got an appearance. It has got no real existence, but it has got appearance. And that appearance is always with existence borrowed from Brahman, from substratum. Let's look at the last verse for today, verse number 15. We will chant. Bhairantascha bhutanam
Bahirantascha bhuta
वैरन्तश्च भूतानाम्
acharam charameva cha
अचरं
acharya
चरमेव च
sukshmatvat tadvijneyam
Sushmatvat
Tvat tadvigneyam
तदभिज्ञेयम्
durastham chantike cha tat.
durasthan
दूरस्थं
chantike
शान्ति
chatam.
तत्
The word meanings are bahihi cha antaha bhutanam. So bhutanam bahihi, that Brahman is outside of all beings. Bhutanam antaha, that Brahman is inside of all beings. Acharam eva charam, that Brahman is non-moving and moving. Tad durastham, that Brahman is far away. And cha antike, that Brahman is near also. Sukshmatvat, being very subtle. Tad avijneyam, that Brahman is not knowable. Okay. So all indirect methods to reveal Brahman. One is accepting the mithya sambandha between the world and Brahman that we saw. You introduce a mithya sambandha, mithya world, which has a mithya sambandha with Brahman. And using that mithya sambandha, that mithya relationships, you can reveal, words can reveal Brahman. Another method is using paradoxical language. When paradoxical language is used, the intellect cannot grasp Brahman, right? Because intellect always analyzes in terms of this or that. If something is said to be far away, then what will the intellect say? It is not near. If something is said to be moving, what will Buddhi say? It will exclude all unmoving things. This is the normal way the Buddhi classifies by putting into buckets, right? But Brahman cannot be classified. Why? Only objects can be classified. And therefore, Shastra uses this, contradictory language so that the intellect drops its efforts to classify, to categorize Brahman. When you come across paradoxical descriptions, the intellect cannot classify. Because you can't classify something as far and near, right? Or moving, non-moving. Therefore, what happens? It stops trying to understand Brahman as an object. And when all objects are dropped, what remains?
the subject.
The subject remains, right? This is method. And this is what Krishna is saying. Bhutanam bahihi antaha. That Brahman is outside and inside of all beings. Now, if you analyze this, for the terms outside and inside to have a meaning, there should be some point of reference, right? If I say I am outside without a point of reference, you can give multiple interpretations to the word outside. You understand? I can be outside the study room. I can be outside the house. I can be outside Ahmedabad. I can be outside India. I can be outside the earth also if I'm in a spaceship. So there has to be a point of reference. And that Krishna doesn't say. So Shankara says, you have to take this outside as having a boundary, outside or inside, both. Bahihi antaha, you have to take it from a boundary as the point of reference. What is the boundary going to be?
In the body.
Okay, Shankara says use the skin of the body. Because if you say body, you can take it inside also. So use skin as the reference. The skin of the physical body Whatever is outside your skin is Bahihi. Whatever is inside the skin is Anta. Very clear definition. Therefore, outside and inside of all the bodies actually means what? It is everywhere. The Atma is inside the body. The Atma is also outside the body. When the Atma is inside the body, we have specific names. Antaratma. That Atma which you can recognize inside the body is called Antaratma. Is also called Sakshi. And this is a very important point which I have discussed earlier. When you use the word Sakshi, you are not using it for the all-pervading Atma. In the sense, you are using it for your recognition of the all-pervading Atma, but in your body. Why is that so? Because consciousness, which is the reason why I can say I am. The word I am implies that consciousness is there in me. That consciousness, because of which you can say I am, which is actually the all-pervading Atma, but that consciousness which you can recognize as I am, that consciousness is only inside you. You cannot recognize that consciousness in me. You can only infer that I am also conscious because you are conscious. The recognition of that consciousness can only be inside your body. That is called Antaratma, that is called Sakshi. Once you have done that, so this is the point here. The consciousness principle can be recognized only inside you. The existence principle can be recognized everywhere. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So it's something which we need to drive into our heads. When I say I am Satchit Ananda, I can recognize Sat everywhere. The entire universe exists. I can recognize. My body exists. I can recognize. My planet exists. I can recognize. The sun exists. I can recognize. The galaxy exists. I can recognize. But I am is only inside. Therefore, I am, the consciousness principle, has to be recognized inside. And you say, I am that Sakshi, the principle. And then you say, I am also that Sat, which is this body, this planet, this sun, this galaxy, the entire universe, also I am. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. Then, Acharam, Charam, Evacha. It is moving and non-moving. How to understand? When you say consciousness principle is moving and non-moving, or existence principle is moving and non-moving, how do we understand?
The objects which are living as well as non-living.
Mm, That's not really what is being said. Let us say that um, you have a mirror with you, right? On which the light of the sun is reflected. And you are walking with the mirror. Does the sun move? If you're looking at the mirror,
No.
what is happening to the mirror, sun in the mirror?
Sun in the mirror appears to move as we are moving.
The sun in the mirror will move as you are moving, but the original sun does not move at all. Right? Therefore, it is seemingly moving because the reflecting medium is moving, but really speaking, it is not moving. Just like at night, when you look out of the window, the moonlight seems to move as the moon moves, even though the source of the moonlight, which is the sun, is not moving at all. Similarly, when I say in the morning the sun is risen, what have I done? Has the sun really risen? No.
No.
You have transferred the movement of the earth to the sun. The attribute of one thing is being transferred to another thing. Property of one thing is being transferred to another thing. It's called dharma adhyasa. Dharma means property, superimposition of the property of something onto something else. So Upanishad says body travels, mind travels. But the existence principle or the consciousness principle, they do not really travel. But because they are reflected in the body and the mind, they seem to travel along with the medium. Therefore, this dharma adhyasa, seemingly moving because you have transferred the existence principle onto the mirror, the consciousness principle onto the mirror. The body and the mind are mirrors. So, Brahman, when you think of Brahman as OC, Brahman is non moving. When you think of Brahman as RC, the movement of the RM is transferred onto Brahman, and you say Brahman is moving. This is the common interpretation. Okay. But Shankara gives another interpretation also over here. So he starts a discussion by saying that when you say the body and you say Brahman is inside the body, you might think what? That this is the body and Brahman is inside the body. Right? So think of it as I am saying that this is a glass, inside the glass is orange juice. What are the possible interpretations of the statement?
There is a container and the contained.
Yeah, but so orange juice is inside the glass. What are the possible interpretations of that statement?
That it is
It
not
is not
outside.
outside.
Okay, that is not outside the glass. There is one more interpretation. What is that?
Orange juice is not in the glass, it's inside and not.
Fair enough. So you are saying now, there are two interpretations. One is that orange juice is not outside the glass. And when you say in the glass, you mean the glass is not orange juice.
Mm.
You get the idea? You are distinguishing. There is a juice in the glass. There is a glass which is not orange juice. And there is no orange juice outside the glass. Right. So Shankara says, okay. Krishna says there is a body and there is Brahman inside the body. Therefore, I might think the body is not Brahman. Right? So he says Acharam Charamevacha has to be taken as this Brahman is present in all the bodies, moving and non-moving. The juice is to be taken as present inside the glass and composing the glass also, and outside the glass also. So Acharam Charamevacha means moving, non-moving, and the RM also, container also you say, so that nothing is left out. Get the idea? It's a slightly more subtle way of explaining that the existence principle is there inside the body is correct. The existence principle is there outside the body is correct. But don't forget that the body is also that existence principle. A very subtle way of reminding us. Do not forget always that Brahman is everything. Right? Like the snake, rope snake. Snake is not the rope, but snake is not different from the rope also. Okay. Clear? I hope.
जी.
It's a nice few ideas which you should think over. Okay, that we have not completed this verse. There is still some more comments by Shankara, which is very, very incisive, which you will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate Om
Om
Shanti
Shanti
Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Acharya ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.